jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone. Just give me one split second or two so I can take care of this right quick. I know it's been a minute, I try to come on here consistently. But like I said, like I tell everybody, I have some media that's on deck that I can reach out to. You know what I'm saying, and make that happen. I will definitely put my effort into that. So hold on for a second. Let me get some straight. Everyone is doing great, man. Big shout out and salute to the WCS supporters as always. Those of you that tune into the channel, support me. You know what I'm saying? With boxing input, engaging the topics. I've been busy as hell, so this is not going to be as detailed as you would think. But to the ones who understand, you know what it is, man. You know what it is. It gets a little bit hectic. You know what I'm saying? Congested and everything else. And then when you finally get home, you want to just get rested. Yes, that's what it is. You see the thumbnail. That pound for pound, that top pound for pound, professional boxer Terrence Crawford, man, has been on record as saying that, once again, he's taking a leadership role and choosing to move on. You know what I'm saying? And this is not the first time when he said, I'm done talking about it. But when you speak of the era of Spence, aholics, all they look at it is he's ducking or he want to go a different direction because he don't want to fight Spence. No, he truly understands what's going on. He's being told behind the scenes what's going on. So he's not willing to wait anymore, which is smart, because look at it. Between him and Spence, we already know who has been able to accomplish have the most, the more decorated boxer career at this point, right? And I've even sit up here and told you all the plan. I told you all the plan. But unfortunately, the plan didn't work out exactly the way I thought. I thought Jermell Charlo would have, been able to earn the unified championships at 154. And then he can proceed to defend those titles. And the only way that Errol Spence could be able to highlight his career was to fight his stablemate. It would be a good fight. People would jump on that. It will basically allow them to get 2 nice paychecks. All they have to do is sell it. Just take the social media and just start any type of beef. And especially with that camp, you're talking about Derrick James has 2 unified champions in his camp. So therefore, it wouldn't take much, for riffraff, if it was orchestrated the right way, for riffraff to hit social media and and for them to start talking about fighting each other. But of course, we're talking about trying to get two black fighters to do business like that, to attempt to orchestrate some for millions of dollars. It's not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. See, for Jamel, he's already taken a loss. But for Spence, in order for it to work out great, maybe he don't have to take a loss. Maybe Jamel Charlo can, get paid something and take this L and move up. That's only if he had the undisputed titles. What it would do is allow Errol Spence to pretty much gain traction at a different division. You remember when I told y'all that? Don't act like it's something new. I gave you that way long time ago. And people can laugh all they want, but guess what? That's it's fights that go on like that all the time. Just predetermined. All the time. Don't act like it's new. If you acting like it's new, then so be it. It's all good. Who am I to sit up here and try to convince you otherwise? J8 on deck, man. I see you. What's good, J Ochu? So let's get to Terrence Bud Crawford, man. We've been waiting. We're talking about a fighter in Crawford who has never fell short of proving that he is the best welterweight in boxing, and also one of the top pound for pounds, for which he sits above Errol Spence on that list. Now, when it comes to performances, he's also performing. I think a lot more people are coming to the reality that they can't just sit up here and dilute what he's been able to accomplish in welterweight division as if it's nothing. It's very much something special. You know what I'm saying? It has a lot of value to it. For him to have 66 wins, 6 stoppages at welterweight, if his opponents were just trash, as they call them, then they had to be something for him to step in the ring with him. You know what I'm saying? Somebody signed the fight. Somebody, where are the matchmakers? Where are the managers? They're not all bums like you're saying. And then when you break down Spence's resume, then you can find a lot of discrepancies and holes in that too. You know what I'm saying? People probably boosting up the value of Kell Brook when it comes to Spence only after his win over Khan. I'm telling you, that's how the Spencerholics think, bro. They sit up here, see, Spence, he's the first one to get a hold of Kell Brook, after Sean Porter, and he defeated him. I told you, no, we're not talking about that. Because when Crawford did him dirty, he was washed up. He was done. Now all the hypocrisy is precipitating downward again, because he went in there and looked very. First of all, his aesthetics, his physique looked good for what it. I'm just saying his physique looked well for rehydration, and he's filling out. He was a much bigger fighter in there against Khan. He looked like he was well prepared for that fight. He looked strong, man. You can tell just from the physiques from both fighters, Khan and Brook. Brook looked way better than Khan when it came to conditioning. But anyway, Terrence Crawford's resume speaks for itself. And I think the reality is setting in, and the therapist is being called upon, because word has it that, Crawford is more interested now of, taking a leadership role and once again making that decision, just like his adjustments in the ring and moving up to 154. Great call. If it's all said and done and he chooses to venture up a division, I'm all for it. Sir Ken on deck, man. What's good with your World Combat Sports? Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. Always appreciate you there, Sir Ken, for pulling up. Andrew Charles, what's good on deck? Salute there, Andrew. Appreciate the real ones on deck. WCS salute to you, my brother. The Boxing King Archives on deck, man. What it do? WCS Terrence Crawford came from 135 pounds, and he's possibly fighting at 154. Do you think he has a chance against Jamel? I saw Bud stand next to Ugas, and he looks very small compared to Ugas. Well, I can tell you this, Boxing Kings, in all respect, right? Not to try to dissect how long you've been following the sport, none like that. But when it comes to size, right, in the sport of boxing, we've seen. I always tell people this. I say we've seen fighters come in here who weigh much less and still got the job done. We've seen fighters go in there and compete against bigger fighters. And I always use, that heavyweight. I mean, I don't even have to go there. I can look, we can go off the rehydration. Sometimes you run into fights where the fighter rehydrates and he's much bigger than his opponent. You know what I'm saying? Even though they both weighed in and made the weight limit, when they rehydrate, you always have a separation and a weight gap. Just like in a heavyweight division, you have a serious weight gap. But they still go in there and compete. I mean, come on, man. Deontay Wilder one time fought at 209 or something. Had the flu and still went in there and he was outweighed by a substantial amount of pounds. I'm just saying, I don't think the weight difference is going to matter that much. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. It's going to come down to skill, because look at Austin Trout. A lot of people was thinking that Austin Trout, for some reason that he was too small to be in there with the Charlos, this, that, and the other. And with both brothers, I already know the outcome, but we're just talking about with both brothers, man, they underestimated him, and he was just slick. It's going to come down to what you know as a fighter. How educated are you? You know what I'm saying? We know Terrence is a very educated fighter. Very educated. And look, this is a upset waiting to happen. I know it's driving them crazy in Texas, but look, they happy. They happy Crawford's moving up, talking about Mel Charlo. Now they get to talk about another one of their hometown favorites. Just think about it. He's talking about moving up. The same thing that other individuals are praised for. Mikey Garcia was praised for moving up to 135 to 147, and he went the distance. So to make a long story short, the Boxing King archives, just look at what I'm just telling you. Like, Mikey Garcia moved up from 35 off Easter to fight Errol Spence, and everybody was talking about how big Errol Spence was and everything. He went the distance. He didn't hurt Mikey one time. And everybody say, oh, Mikey he's a 4-division champ. No, don't start bringing the divisions in there. We're talking about a guy who moved up from 35. His 35, he moved up 2 weight divisions. He did not fight Sergey Lipinets his last fight before he moved up. He vacated the belt for Sergey, went and picked up the IBF from Robert Easton, then moved up to face Spence. That's just one example, bro. We just seen what was it? Ray Martinez? Bam Martinez move up from fly to superfly to face Quadras. He moved up himself. Consider moving up for the weight division for a championship for the first time, because you had a fighter catch COVID. You had Rung Fasai that caught COVID. What happened? He won the title. I don't put too much emphasis in there. Look at Oleksandr Usyk coming up from cruiserweight. He faces Chase Witherspoon his first fight. Nothing special. They say he's small for heavyweight. Oh, he's small. He goes in there and defeats Derek Chisora. Didn't look all that good. But goddamn it, he went in there and beat Anthony Joshua, who at one point in time when he faced Carlos Takam, he was 154 when the agreed upon weight was 135. Not 135, 235. He weighed 254. Joshua was big with no cardio, dog. They agreed on 235, man. He came in there 254, bro. And then they stopped the fight prematurely because you already know the deal. They were setting up a fight between him and Povetkin. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Crawford moving up to face Charlo, it's going to come down to who's the more educated fighter. It's going to come down to the wits, the smart. You know what I'm saying? The strategizing, problem solving. You know what I'm saying? That's when you get a lot more intelligence that coming into play when someone like Crawford moves up to challenge himself to a fighter like Jermell Charlo, who's already unified, and his biggest test was in against Brian Castano. I wouldn't say that Terrence Crawford fights like Brian Castano at all. At all. So Crawford knows it's going to be a challenge. It's just all about if this is going to be a fight that we continue to talk about and it never happens. But if the fight happens, of course that shit's going to draw attention. You go from Spence, all the attention that was given to Spence, from the Spencerholics to that energy transferring over to his stablemate. That's a real smart move right there for Crawford to go after Errol Spencer's stablemate. Very, very intelligent. Andrew Charles said Spence might feel more confident fighting Bud at 54, and he might actually get the fight. I can tell you about this with Spence, though. I've seen the video of him hitting the bag and everything, and I'm not really too enticed or interested to see him hitting a heavy bag. You see fighters hitting a heavy bag. Okay, cool. But a lot of times you learn about fighters, their rhythm, how they look, how they fight on the outside, inside, adjustments they make, changes, whatever. You know what I'm saying? How they place their punches, how comfortable or uncomfortable they are in the ring. You find a lot about in sparring. So if they chose to release a little small video of Errol Spence hitting the bag, I can show you another video of him hitting the bag. You know what I'm saying? I just, when certain people get video release footage, when you have a whole lot of other media out here, okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to do anything. We got several dozen media. It's funny how all these people put their emphasis in Errol Spence, right? And they live in Texas, but a guy who was able to get the video don't live nowhere close to Texas. How does that work? How does that work? You know what I'm saying? Like y'all going to the high ends and supporting, trying to advocate, but yeah, y'all can't even get a simple video release of him hitting the bag with your dang watermark on it. You know what I'm saying? It has to come from a guy who just get, all-time access from anybody. Y'all in Texas though. Real talk. Y'all in Texas, right? Why y'all can't get that video footage? Why Derrick James ain't fucking with y'all like that? You might want to ask that question. Don Dollar said, they said Michael was fighting to survive. Yeah, he got hit and everything but the kitchen sink. They're going to hate all they want. But like I said before, Mikey came up from 35, y'all. 35. He came up there and fought somebody who had the reputation for blacking the eye of Mayweather, knocking out Adrian Broner, and just being this killer in sparring, right? That was how he claimed the fame. Like that was his claim to fame. Like what he did to Mayweather and made Mayweather respect him, right? That was his claim to fame. That was the hype that was behind him. And I get it. I understand it, respect it, all that shit. But now it's much different. It's real different. And he kind of lost a little bit of that edge when Mikey did pull up and he couldn't stop him. Mikey pulled up, bro. Mikey pulled up. Mikey pulled up from lightweight. Once again, Mikey pulled up from lightweight. This is supposed to be the weight bully. This is supposed to be the guy that's most feared and everything else is welterweight. Mikey Garcia pretty much subtracted value from Errol Spence's down the momentum he had up there welterweight. Like all the hype that was behind Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia single-handedly extracted a portion of that away when he went the distance with Errol Spence. Period. Of course, he might have been in there surviving, but that wasn't all he was doing. If Errol Spence is this unbelievable tough fighter, he should have been able to find a way to get Mikey up out of there. Because I know when I look across to the WBO and I see Bud Crawford, from his opening fight with Jeff Horn all the way to his last fight, stoppages. Should I go on? I agree with you, WCS. Appreciate the input that Boxing King Archives. Silence King on deck. What it do? Salute WCS. Salute to you, my brother. Mike is not as skilled as Terrence Crawford. Either he is a good fighter, though. I agree. What would it do for Terrence Crawford to fight Mikey Garcia right now as a common opponent for Errol Spence? Nothing, because he lost to Sander Martin. So that's out the question. Hearing the word that Bud is once again dismissing and just overlooking Spence fight because he know deep down inside he's not going to get that fight. Word has it that Thurman may get the winner, Uga Spence. For real? Thurman. Now let that settle with you. Let that just settle in your heart right quick. It's gonna burn, goddammit. It's gonna burn. But let that thought settle. The reason why I'm saying that is you're talking about a Keith Thurman who was eating ice cream before he stepped in there with Manny Pacquiao. A Keith Thurman who let an old, antiquated elder statesman sit him down and then ultimately taking his title. Not only that, we already know about the hiatus, the long hiatus that Keith Thurman was responsible for. Being out of the sport for that long. That freaking long, man. And people was riding him off. People was damn hating him because he wasn't, he didn't want to damn acknowledge that Spence was calling him out when he was the WBC and WBA world titleist. People was upset and angry, holding grudges against Keith Thurman. And then, when he was coming back and they was fighting Barrios, they was like, oh man, I ain't paying for that shit. They came out and said it was going to be $40, but it ended up being $70 plus. Nobody wasn't giving Keith Thurman no credit. They said he was washed up. He's injury prone. He ain't this, ain't that. He comes in here and beats a junior welterweight. He didn't stop him. He goes the distance. Now, all of a sudden, Keith Thurman is getting that light to potentially be the next one to step in there and the Uga Spence winner. That's why my focus has been on point all the time. My mental compass has always been in the direction and support of the best welterweight in boxing. That's Terrence Bud Crawford, period. I don't care what they say about Bud Crawford fans. You can come up with any cliche terminology, but in your heart of hearts, that shit's going to burn you up. That shit's burning you up right now. That shit's burning you up. That you have to go in here and try to figure out another scenario, more storylines. If Bud now redirect his focus on Jermell Charlo, that's going to be nice. Because we have two individuals that will really give us the energy we're looking for. Then they're going to say, it's no way. It's no way. Yes, yes way. It's yes way. They're going to say, it's no way. It's no way. Jamal's too strong. We said the same thing about Tony Harrison. And Tony Harrison pretty much did the exact same thing that Bud Crawford can do. He outboxed Charlo. Now, we all know deep down to our chest cavity, in our lungs, that Terrence Crawford would never lose focus like Tony Harrison. Never. Hell no. He'll never lose focus. Tony Harrison was doing great. Doing pretty good in the second one. He'll start losing focus. And then, he ended up getting stopped. But ultimately, when you compare styles, you're talking about boxers. Tony Harrison did his justice. He adjudicated any doubt that people had about him stepping in there with suppose it was a bigger Charlo. I've seen Tony Harrison in person. He's not a small dude. So I'm not quite sure why people was believing that Mel Charlo was so much bigger than Tony Harrison, but Tony Harrison did what Terrence Crawford can do. He outboxed him in the first fight. He outboxed him. He outboxed him. Because you know what happens to the Charlos. When they're not having their way in the ring, what they do? They start headhunting. They start sitting down on their punches and they just start going for broke early. You know what I'm saying? They go for broke. They get reckless. They abandon the damn strategy. And the good thing I love about this, about Crawford calling them out, is that Bomac and Crawford more than likely believe they the better team, the more smarter team when it comes to fighting somebody like Jermell Charlo. Because we all know that the Charlos don't listen to Derrick James. They don't listen. Well, I mean, his fighters, Mel Charlo and Spence. It's been fights where Derrick was telling them to do shit, and especially Mel Charlo, he ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing what he's supposed to do from Derrick James. He's not listening. He's not being disciplined there. Listen, they think they can just go off, just cutting on that switch, a belligerency, and going out here and causing chaos and mayhem, and that's gonna get them to win. That's not. But Bud Crawford is a much smarter fighter, in my opinion, than Mel Charlo and Errol Spence. He's much well rounded. We don't have to talk about the switch hitting no more. We already know that's in his arsenal. Ghost on deck, man. What's good with you, Ghost? It's off topic, but dog, pray for John Jones. Seriously, pray for that brother. He just headbutted the police car, telling them to hurt him and kill him. Yeah, he's been on. When I was out, I kind of heard something about that, and I thought he was kind of getting it together, but Winkle John kicked him out of the gym for a reason, because they know how he is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, for sure, bro. I agree with that. If the Spence fight doesn't manifest, Bud moving up and snatching the belts would be a great legacy move. Absolutely, Andrew. You already know, man. Come on, man. Like I say, man, you got some educated people in this live chat. You already know. This has nothing to do with YouTube. This has something to do with boxing in general. Like, we're tired of hearing the back and forth, storylines, this, that, and the other about who, Errol Spence is going to fight, this and that. All roads lead to Terrence Crawford at the end of the day. So if he chooses to go up there and fight Mel Charlo, then it's going to confuse a lot of narratives that was being pushed out here, because he's basically challenging the stablemate of their favorite fighter. He's challenging the stablemate of their favorite fighter. So they're going to be, like was said, you take that brain out and put it in a bird, the shit fly backwards. It's going to be some people upset. They can say, how do we attack this? What do we do? What do we do? He's talking about fighting Mel Charlo. We got to find a way for him to get back and focus on Spence. He can't focus on something that's not there. Not Spence in the physical being isn't there, but why speak on a fight that's not there? People you can create and do lives all you want and make up different storylines about what Spence is doing, but Spence has no control to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? The only person, in my opinion, that has had control to make it up out of there after being criticized all the time was Terrence Crawford. He finally got up out of Top Rank, which he felt that didn't get him the fight he wanted. And people can say what they want. He could have got the fight. Not during the pandemic. Errol Spence and Crawford couldn't have fought with no audience. That'd be foolish. And then, to hear Bob Arum talk about how much money he lost, then guess what? There's no way he would have been able to recoup that money during the pandemic with no audience. So therefore, I look at it like this. I look at it in a way that he made a move away from Top Rank where everybody was saying he was being taken advantage of. And he was stupid for staying there. They always talk about how Bomac has business relations with Top Rank. True. So you'll be fooled to think that Terrence Crawford doesn't either. Even him not being being with Top Rank, he still has fighters that he's gonna help. He's still gonna have relationships with people over there at Top Rank. Believe me. But the travesty of it all was when individuals were saying that Bud should just go over to PBC and lay himself at the mercy of Al Heyman. If that ain't some civility, if that isn't some civility, that is absolutely what we'll sit up here and cry racism about. If it was somebody like Bob Arum, we'll sit up here and cry that shit to the high heavens. But you want Terrence Crawford to go throw himself at the mercy. You want him to kowtow. You want him to genuflect and plead and beg at the mercy of Al Heyman to get a fight with Errol Spence. And these are black people. This is my people saying this shit. This is my people saying that bullshit. They want him to throw himself at the mercy of Al Heyman, who's not even thinking about getting him a fight. Real talk. Whatever your name is, Jamul, be more specific. Crawford did not dismiss Spence. He did. He said he's not fighting to get that Spence fight. You know what I'm saying? He did dismiss him. Absolutely. He's basically redirecting his focus to another fight that's outside of the division that he's currently a world champion in. So he's saying, I'm not really dealing with that no more. Dismiss mean could be at the present time, or it can be temporary or permanent. Regardless, it means you're not entirely focused on what it was before. Whatever their objective was, you're dismissing it. You're dismissed. When you get dismissed from class, Jamal, what happens? You're dismissed for that day. That doesn't mean you go home and you don't come back for the rest of the year. You're dismissed. You're dismissed, bro. See Wood on deck, man. What's good with you, see Wood? It's truly unfortunate that we as fans won't get the Spence versus Crawford undisputed unification fight, but I absolutely love the move to 154 for Bud. Man, that's what I'm talking about. I like the challenge because for me, people always say it's fan this and fan that. They always want to come up with these juvenile attachments, right? These one-liners and shit. But at the end of the day, C Wood, what does I do? If you really support a fighter, you want that fighter to face the tougher competition and you want to see how good they are. That's my mentality. No fighter I support heavy. It's like I want them to go ahead and compete against the easiest opposition. Never. That's not the way I go about it. From Deontay Wilder, Teofimo Lopez, the Terrence Bud Crawford. That's not the way. Joshua Greer Jr. That's just not the way I went about it, bro. So when it comes down to these top level fighters, these elite fighters, for him to move up and challenge a name like Jermell Charlo, this is really gonna force the same voices that were supporting Spence to make a decision. And that decision isn't going to be easy. It's very strategic. Very, very strategic. I like it. Because both of them are under the same tutelage of Derrick James. I love it. Now what? I can tell you right now, those of you in the chat, I can tell you right now what their storyline gonna be. I heard it before already. How does Terrence Crawford think he's going to get the fight with Jermell Charlo, and he's with PBC too? Because they put everything on Al Heyman. You know what I'm saying? They run that shit like an asylum. Like how you gotta wait and then go up there and get your meds and shit. They run that shit like an asylum. Like everybody gotta go through the head honcho. the grand poobah. They think Al Heyman is the grand poobah of everything that runs at PBC. So if it's all about black voices who's on YouTube sending traffic over about Al Heyman to gather support, why would he deny another black fighter just because he's not signed with PBC not to get a fight, not to be able to eat? Because it's been said that Al Heyman is not interested in black fighters, black to black fighters. He's not interested because from what I heard allegedly that he believes it don't sell. That's why you see a lot of fights that's going on the way they do. Now, of course, we had Jamel Charlo and Tony Harrison. That doesn't mean you won't have some type of attrition. You will get some type of attrition every now and then, the black on black fighters. But their storyline is Al Heyman is not going to allow a fight. They want to keep it all in house. Yeah, that sounds good. Real talk. That sounds good. But in the reality of life of boxing, it comes a time, just like we seen with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Why aren't y'all using the same narrative? Because last time I checked, PBC was co-promoting with Top Rank. And who was leading? Who was sending out the press credentials? And who was doing all it? Top Rank. Look back on it. Top Rank. But when it comes to Terrence Crawford, they're gonna say, "Oh, Al Heyman ain't gonna let that shit happen, man. He ain't gonna let that shit happen." He couldn't get the Errol Spence fight. Maybe you should start thinking about internally what may be going on with PBC. Maybe it's not as ironclad as you thought it was. Maybe it's a lot of discontent that's going on. Maybe it's it's a lot going on internally. A lot of discord, a lot of dysfunctionality. You know what I'm saying? A lot of animosity, a lot of pending lawsuits. Maybe it's too much that's going on that you need to start pointing the finger at the same individuals that you're sitting up here believing he's doing everything right. There's more than one option out there for Bud Crawford to get that fight with Jamel Charlo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people will be interested. And a lot of them might say, I think this fight with Jamel Charlo and Bud Crawford is much more inviting than we was talking about Crawford and Spence, because that shit is blown out. It's almost like having a birthday cake and the person, is late. You already lit the candles. It's supposed to be a surprise birthday party, and you like the candles cut off the light. They say, "What's going on, man? The candles already melting on the cake." Damn. They blow them out, take the motherfuckers out. Just let me know when they inbound. Oh, they inbound? Okay. They stick some more fresh candles in there, like that mug. The candles burn down again. Are they getting here or not? By the third time they relight the candles and the person don't show up, people are like, okay, fool me once. You know what I'm saying? They're done with it. And that's exactly what's been going on with us when it comes to the Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence situation. We've been fooled. We've been duped. Had. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second. All right, we back. Um, Jay Ocho said Derrick James tell Charlo something in the corner. He going to the complete opposite of what he said. See, that's what I'm telling y'all, man. Y'all be right on the motherfucking hitting the nail, man. For real. For real. That's exactly what happened. And why were they up there drinking out of a different bottle that wasn't approved? It wasn't a clear bottle, huh? This is why I'm gonna use this scenario. I remember when Jamel Charlo went in there against Austin Trout. And the reason why I talk about Trout, because for some reason people were thinking Trout was going to be food. He was easy. So when Jamel went in there and started trying to take his head off, his brother's telling him to calm down. Derrick James trying to tell him, what are you doing? Calm down, relax. You trying to go in there and better your brother. You trying to do it better than Mar Charlo. It was stupid. And see, for that in itself, the thought process and their way of thinking, that's why I said a lot of people are going to say Jamel Charlo too strong, he too big. But it's going to come down to the same mindset that Tony Harrison went in there against Mar Charlo. Now, I know that was a fight that happened, some time ago, but I'm thinking of the same method for which Tony Harrison used. It's somewhat similar to how Terrence Crawford can go in there to beat Jamel Charlo. Look, Jamel Charlo has problems with boxers like that. They know how to box and keep their distance, and have pretty good hand speed. He has problems. See, he even had problems with Castano, because Castano didn't have any dang hesitation, doubt, to come through the front door and stay in Jamal's chest. Jamel's chest. He has courage, man. High level of confidence. That's what I liked about the way Castano was. He didn't allow Mel Charlo to be comfortable. He wasn't intimidated. I like fights like that. I do. I like fights, just like Teofimo Lomachenko, just like freaking Stephen Fulton and Angelo Leo, even Oscar Valdez and Miguel Burchell. I like fights like that, man. And so many that Deontay Wilder was in. But when it comes down to what Tony Harrison was able to pull off with Mel Charlo, I see it playing out in much better fashion with Bud Crawford, man. I do. I see that shit playing out. James Woolery, what's good? Bud don't need PBC. They know he's nice with him. Yeah, man, they keep on saying the same thing. Al Heyman, man. Like, he didn't give you the fight here. But listen, y'all, you all understand it, but you just fail to recognize it. You can sit up here and keep on thinking you're going to put Bud Crawford on the outside. You only stalling your career because he's already a 3-weight champion. So in order for Errol Spence to fulfill, and for his manifesto to come into fruition, he has to somehow go up there and speak to them and say, hey, I need this fight. Now, if he's up here talking stupid like he always do, talking about percentages here and there, he don't want the fight. I don't care if it's 10%. If you're gonna squabble over 10%, you don't want the fight. You know what I'm saying? Errol Spence don't want the fight, bro. We can go back and forth, with the media outlets that support Bud, and then the ones that support, Errol Spence. We go back and forth. But one thing I notice about Errol Spence fans, it's more so a lot of cats who's locally have some type of enamored type emotions about him. They don't want to call him out for doing stuff that's off code. Like, if you truly want to make this fight, make the fucking fight, bro. Stop trying to tell Bud Crawford to go lay it at the mercy of PBC and let Al Heyman wipe his feet on him and say, okay, you've proven yourself to be inferior. Now let's try to make this fight. How does 80-20 sound to you? Nah, that's not being a man. I don't get that impression from Bud Crawford at all. But to hear these cats talk about on the YTC as if he need to just go lay down and shine the shoes of Al Heyman, that's crazy, bro. That's what we complain about if other races, say that shit about us. Just do it. Just shut up and dribble. Just do it. How can you tell another black man that's linked up to another fighter who's been in the talking points for damn near so many years now? How are you gonna just tell him to leave Bob Arum and go over there and sign a contract with Al Heyman just for one fighter? Errol Spence ain't that damn important. If you're gonna make the declaration to become undisputed, then find some way to step up in your leadership role to try to make the concessions and bridge the gap for that fight to happen. Go up there and talk to your people and say, you know what, I'm willing to make a compromise, so it can be fair across the board between me and Crawford. Let's make this fight happen. We tired of talking about it. Now, in my opinion, I think if they fight at 154, the only way it's going to be very interesting to the crowd is that one of them pick up a strap. Because the momentum is going to be so diluted outside of 147. It's done right now. It's fizzled, man. The air has been out a long time, right? If they meet at 154, and don't let Bud pick up a belt. Come on, man. Don't let Bud get the fight with Jamel Charlo. They really going to be confused, man. They're going to be like, God damn. Of all the years we've been talking about Spence, how in the hell Bud moves up to 154 and he gets a fight with Mel Charlo? Because maybe they didn't have confidence in Errol Spence. You need to sit up there and deliberate. Get in the mirror and have some type of self-deliberation. Say, damn, maybe they didn't have faith in Errol Spence. Andrew say bamboozle. Silent King say, I don't think he will speak because he can barely say Bud's name. Oh shit. Bruce goes boxer jazz and war bad. Salute to Yo G. How you feeling, bro? Man, y'all be sure to go there and check out Bruce Goes Jazz and More, man. For real. Silent King said he don't think he will speak because he can barely say Bud's name. Look, I may mention his situation being self-inflicted, right? But I'm more so trying to keep it on the perspective of boxing that I truly believe that Bud Crawford is absolutely the better boxer. I don't see anything that stands out to me with Errol Spence except, it's so many people trying to give him a hashtag. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to give him a hashtag. Now, one highlight I would give him is that, it took him to 11th round to catch Sean Porter, who's been fighting aggressive and erratically the whole fight, doing what Sean Porter does. Same thing against Adrian Granados and shit like that. Adrian Bronner. He caught him with a left hook. Kudos for seeing through the eye of the storm, man, and landing that left hook. But the fight was close. What was the decision again? What was the decision? Was it UD or SD? I don't know. I'm pretty old, like UD or SD. So that wasn't something that was dominating. But then when Bud Crawford goes over here and stop him, people don't want to listen to it. People want to put the liability on the mentality of Kenny Porter looking out for his son and said that, well, we saw it in training. No, you didn't. You didn't see shit in training except the money that you was gonna get if you getting that percentage that people say you getting. There's no way you was gonna pass up that because you got bills to pay. So don't come in here distracting and devaluing the stoppage that Bud, gave Sean Porter. He retired him. Sean Porter Look, Sean Porter wasn't beating the canvas because of his dad was denigrating him from the sidelines. No, he was beating the canvas because Terrence Crawford knocked him down a second time. So that carried over to him just breaking down and throwing a tantrum because he was embarrassed. What happens, with Bud Crawford and Errol Spence at 47 or 54? The same exact results. Bud Crawford steps on him, and then you have to call some unemployed life coaches to go ahead and calm down the YTC community over there because they're going to be distraught. They're going to be up here running around in circles and shit, talking to themselves, putting their damn index finger, flicking their lips up and down. You know what I'm saying? Drooling and shit. I can't believe that shit happened, man. Did the A and B sample come back? Did they get the A and B sample yet? There's no way. There's no way he can do him dirty like that. Yep. Lucky number 7. I hope. Look, I'm hoping Spence is lucky number 7, bro. Seriously, I hope they get the fight. I hope Spence become lucky number 7, bro. So we can just shut down. YouTube will forever be a better place once Errol Spence go ahead and take this whooping. You know what I'm saying? And put that one on the right side of his box rack and move on. Then he will be content with moving up to 54. Don't sign no rematch. Don't do that shit. Don't go up to 54 with 2 losses on your motherfucking resume. And then you getting old. You getting old, and you want to wait till you become a Triple G to say, well, Triple G doing it, I can too. And move up to 54. And it's possible with the way boxing is, he can pick up a title of 54 and 60. Seriously. Errol Spence, before he's 40 years old, in my opinion, he can pick up a title and become a 3-weight champion. But then, as I'm telling you that Errol Spence can complete those accomplishments, so can Bud Crawford. Bud Crawford, if he truly wanted to, ain't shit going on at 60, dog. Ain't shit going on at 60. And once again, I listen to people very, very attentively, right? And I say, they always come up with these excuses about Terrence Crawford moving up. But then, when Canelo's name is thrown up there, right? Then things just like, it's not the same. Like the criteria is different. No, we're talking about human beings, with the same structure of making a weight at a certain division and then contending at a different weight. Same thing. Canelo Alvarez is not this huge person. He's not the tallest fighter. So it comes down to what? Strategy. It comes down to boxing IQ. It comes down to decision making. Not everybody can make decisions. Yeah, you can go ahead and do remediated drills all the time, have sparring sessions, and build up a record. But when it comes to the better competition, the more improved competition, okay, they're gonna match their IQ with your IQ. If you only got over because the competition, the level of competition that you had was considered mediocre, now you have to not only step up your physical game, but you have to step up your mental game too. And that's difficult, people. Yeah, Solid Kings. Yeah, SD, bro. That's a SD. That's a split decision with a fighter that Terrence Crawford didn't go to the scorecards for. He didn't go to the scorecards. Just erase the fact that just erase the fact that Kenny Porter stopped the fight. Already, we comparing common opponents and their performances. You talking about 2 knockdowns, vice 1. It might be a little bit to some people, but he was breaking down Sean Porter, man. And it's just amazed me how people sit up here and say, well, Sean Porter was ahead on the fight. You have to understand how some fighters are. Come on, man. That was proven and debunked very, very quickly that wasn't the case. They were just saying that, oh, the unofficial scorecards, man. Come on. Nobody's looking for Steve Farhood. Nobody's looking for the unofficial shit. And it's amazing how that shit happened with Crawford and it happened with Javante. I say, here we go. It's just like using COVID as an example, for fighters dropping all over the place. Now we want to say, hey, you're behind on the scorecard. And Crawford's like, how? I'm in here fighting. I see what I'm doing to him. How am I behind? Okay. That's one switch I love about Bud Crawford is the fact that when he switches it over with intent to deliver. He don't switches it over and say, you know what, I get to that later. No, he makes the adjustment to deliver the result. And he goes about it very, very with vigor and tenacity. That's what he does, man. I like that. When he makes that decision, he switches over, it's on and popping. He does it with vigor. No question about it. When he makes changes in the ring, he makes changes, man, and nobody can deny that. So how's Jermell Charlo going to handle this shit? Because, look, Jermell Charlo is somewhat like Errol Spence. I ain't going to lie. Jermell Charlo is a bit one-dimensional to me. I ain't going to lie. He is. Sean was on his way to win the fight. The knockdown saved the fight for him. And it was still a split decision. Yeah, that fight was close there, King. You know what I'm saying? That fight was very close between him and Errol Spence. But to hear them tell it, a win is a win. Okay, if it's a win, it's a win. Why y'all sitting up here discounting and jettison the performance that Terrence Crawford has been a part of? If you just say a win is a win, why are you sitting up here not looking like this man has 6 straight stoppages at a division? And like it was said early in the chat, he came up from 35. He came up from 35 now. Do you notice how there was so much scrutiny put on Terrence Crawford moving up and who he didn't fight? But yet, just because Mikey Garcia moved up 2 divisions and lost, they give him more credit for stepping in there with Spence. You know why? Because Spence thought Mikey Garcia was easy work. Even though Mikey said he saw some other fighters in, no, Mikey went in there with intent to be able to get that paycheck. The man was undefeated. He already has his career. You're talking about Mikey Garcia that was able to get out of top rank. He was on the shelf for a little bit, but he was able to get himself from underneath that contract to make money the way he wanted to. They didn't deliver Pacquiao, and they didn't deliver him another fight. So it's like, he's like, shit, you didn't adhere to your contractual obligations. So hey, he did what a grown man did. He took him to court and won. So now when he went up to face Spence, did him and his team truly believe that he was going to beat Spence? Did Robert Garcia truly believe that shit? Coming up from 35 to face somebody, that at that time, you know what I'm saying, it was without an accident. At that time, he still had that momentum going for him. They didn't believe that. And, even though I was trying to get in touch with Robert Garcia when I was in NYC, he tried his best to avoid me. You know what I'm saying? A whole hour, y'all. Now, I'm not going to make no claims or anything about Robert Garcia. I'm not going to make any claims. But a whole hour? I appreciate him finally chopping it up with me. You can check out the video yourself on YouTube. A whole hour. And what he told me about Mikey Garcia in the interview is quite different than what's going on. So they had to have some reservations before they moved up to face Spence. Did they actually go in there believing they can win with a defensive type of mindset. No, it ain't no way in hell you in there with a defensive mindset. Everything Mikey Garcia been working for was here. Pretty much, he got himself released from Top Rank. He's a 4-weight champion, and he has the opportunity to go ahead and take one L, but that L is going to bring him a very lucrative payday, and that's all he wanted. That's all he fucking wanted, dog. I rewatched the fight the other day. It's a rewatch worthy. Which fight you talking about? You talking about Errol Spence and Sean Porter, or Terrence Crawford, Sean Porter? Which one you talking on? Which one you talking on? But yeah, man, it's just so much going on with this. When I heard him again, I really think from what I've been hearing with Bud, shout out to him going over there. They was training Amir Khan for that fight. Shout out to him for, you know, being respectful and showing how the UK treated him and letting American fans know. You know what I'm saying? They gave that man mad love over there. You know what I'm saying? Him, Steve Nelson, AK Stone Cold was over there. And Bo Mac, they couldn't get the job done, but it wasn't because of their training. It's just Amir Khan in general. I mean, he didn't look strong. That's what it was. But he pretty much spoke to the fans, man. They can say what they want about Bud Crawford. It's nothing wrong with him giving the UK fans a treat. Blessing them over there by training one of their fighters. And it was a good look. Why? Because somehow, somewhere, Amir Khan still has damn Wall Street over there, man. Regardless of how many times he's been put the fuck to sleep, they still, they still have compassion for Amir Khan. And Kell Brook might be the I wouldn't say the black sheep. He's not the black sheep, but he might have been up under the silhouette and the silhouette of Amir Khan for quite some time, and never believed he had that exposure and recognition and support from the fan base over there in the shadow of Amir Khan. But that all changed because he beat him clearly, easily. He hurt him in the first round easily. Oh, okay, Bud Porter. Yes, indeed. I mean, Bud, in my opinion, he was never out of control. It seems like he was in control of that fight the entire time. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what he had to do. And, people running with the narrative that he was behind, and then the scorecards come back. That's not the case. But, somebody want to spit that shit in his ear. You know how Bud is. He will absolutely place the fight plan in the recycle bin, and he will implement his own damn strategy. And that strategy is nowhere close to what they worked on in the gym. Bo Mac knows that shit. Bo Mac knows that. He knows who and what Terrence Crawford's, capabilities are. He's seen it in the gym. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about their hospitality. Wilder said the same thing when he went over there. Yeah, a lot of people give UK fans a bad name, but hey, man, they have some of the best walkouts, some of the best ring entrance with the pyrotechnics and everything. I like it, man. It's good he gave them a shout out and treated them with hospitality. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. That's good shit. That's a good look. I'm not going to be petty and say, oh, what other fighter, what is Spence doing? I don't care. I don't care. I'm just saying, that's why I got respect for Bud. First of all, as a family, his family man, a father, and then a fighter, and then what he's been able to accomplish as a fighter. It looked like Bud was just having fun until they told him he was behind. Then he had to drop his friend in a spectacular fashion. And that's a good attention to detail, because deep down inside, I always felt that Bud Crawford still had respect for Sean Porter. He didn't want to go in there and do him dirty. He truly felt that he was a better fighter between him and Sean Porter. He did. But when you're talking about genuine friendship and respect, he ain't trying to go in there and dog walk him like he did Kavalauskas, you know? He ain't trying to dog walk him like that, but he ended up having to. He had to. Because they're going to tell the man, hey, you behind. Why do that? You just made it that much worse for Sean Porter, and it ended the way it ended. It didn't have shit to do with Kenny Porter. It had everything to do with Sean Porter breaking down. And either you want to stop the fight or you want to see him stretched out. You have options. You have options. You know what I'm saying? It's up to however you want to implement them. What is your options? D-Ray Promotions on deck. What's good, man? Hey, I have to finish editing this footage, man. Shout out to Showtime. Man, we had Jahad Tucker down here. Him and Brian Norman had some spectacular sparring the last couple of days. So I've been trying to get the footage edited, you know, the pictures and shit that I took. But I have no problem. You know, Showtime turned me on to them being in the A. I appreciate the brother. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what's good. You know what I'm saying? Linked up with Jahad's family and everything. Trainer. Man, they was nothing but good people, hospitality. Man, seriously. You know, it would be great if it was that way with a lot of fighters to get media access to them. You know, shout out to Jahad Tucker for coming down here in the ATL. Good dude, man. Brian Norman is well known down here in the ATL. Strong fighter. 23-0. Strong dude. He's gonna be a future world champion. You know, him and Jahad went in there and put on a great sparring session, man. And those two individuals you should, you know, be looking out for. And that's a gap as far as experience. But you know what it is. You know, Jahad's going to get his shot just like Brian Norman's going to get his shot. Brian Norman's probably more closer than Jahad Tucker because, you know, he already has 23 professional wins. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to, you know, both of the fighters for going in there for education for me. I got to see it up close and personal again and, you know, learn more and more about boxing. You know what I'm saying? They put on a damn good sparring session for the last 2 days. Their last one was tonight. You know what I'm saying? So follow me on IG if you choose to. Because to be honest with you people, I ain't, you know, you either have the option you want to or not. But, I do what I do when I do it. So you want to check out the pictures. I posted some of them from yesterday on my IG. And I'm going to be putting up that interview once I get it edited and everything. And I appreciate y'all pulling up, man. I gotta get back and kind of knock some of this stuff out so I won't be procrastinating. You know what I'm saying? Silent King said Brian has serious potential. Absolutely. That dude has unlimited potential. Brian is a motherfucking dog. Man, dude is different. Brian got that country strong in him. He got that DNA strand from his pops. Shit, man. Come on now. Brian is that dude. He the one fighter that you know when he's in. Look, sometimes you walk in the gym, you don't know who's sparring. When he got a sparring session, shit, he ain't talking to no goddamn body. He'll talk to his pops, and if his brother in there or something like that, that's about it. But he's focused, man. He get his hands wrapped, glove, and he warm up. He take that shit super seriously. Not jockhead serious, but he take it super serious, man. That's just how he is. Just like when they had Gervonta Davis shit. He was super serious. He came in there, boom. Got acclimated in the back. Started doing a little warm-up and stretches. Got his hands wrapped. And goddamn bombs over motherfucking ATL, goddamn it. Bombs over ATL. But it was a pleasure, though. I ain't gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference, like, getting from behind the mic and going to the gyms, man, that's everything. You learn a whole lot, but you know, having the opportunity to see Terrence Crawford spar Brian Norman, getting a chance to see Gervonta Davis spar Brian Norman. I saw him spar Richardson Hitchens, Brian Norman. He wasn't trying to put out in that fight. Don't believe what you hear. He had already got Crawford. He just went in there, please. If he would have turned up on Hitchens, man, dude, he was just there moving around. That's it, dog. Don't get it twisted. But what you heard about the Terrence Crawford sparring session, he did not knock him down, but goddamn it, he came in that motherfucker already in sixth gear. You know what I'm saying? That's how he get down, man. And that's after coming back from sparring Boots Ennis. I can imagine what that sparring looked like. But before I close, man, I want to give a big shout out to team Jahad Tucker and Brian Norman Jr. because when I asked their team, did they mind taking pictures? They said, "Oh, we don't mind." You know what I'm saying? We don't mind. Everybody else be acting, no pictures, no this, no that. In my opinion, that just shows you have a lack of confidence about what's going to go down. So being that you know on media, if anything goes down with your fighter and they might look a certain way, you believe we can't recover from that. No, the real ones, they don't fucking care. Yeah, go ahead, man. They was like both of them. Brian Norman Sr., Jahad Tucker's father. Go ahead, man. I don't give a fuck about that. Take as many pictures you want. I appreciate that. Real talk. Different type of people, you know. They said, man, I have confidence in my fighter. You got confidence in yours? You know what I'm saying? That's that mentality. Let's go. But my people, man, it's all good. Appreciate y'all for pulling up as always. Thanks, man. So continue to support the channel. We'll link up tomorrow. I just gotta get back to editing this stuff. Until next time, man. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. I'm out.